dropping in. Trying to have a good rest of the day at work. Hi, Colin. This YouTube channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The language, themes, attitudes, and personality of the presenter was not suitable for his own children, and he was a permissive parent. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts on this channel is strictly a coincidence, and any rebroadcast or transmission of this stream without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. And there are 3 rules for anyone with layouts or running a YouTube channel. It's your layout, do what you want, is rule number 1. Rule number 2, don't tell someone else what you think they should do, unless they ask you for advice or an opinion. Number 3, do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel, or in fact when you're visiting somebody else's channel. Everybody can do their own thing. We don't need to pass judgment. All right, so let's get to me. Hey everybody, happy Friday to all of you that have made it to the weekend and have decided to spend a couple of hours here for God knows what reason. Already said hi to Colin and Sarah, so nice to have had you. Tim JD, we need David Cook here. Tom Couples, who has become a regular and happy to have that. Who did shoot the deputy? Was it for... That will be another plot for another time. Hello, Jackie. And hello, Joseph. I don't know how I'm feeling today. It's been a crazy week. I've sort of had the sort of ups and downs of home repair. Yeah, let's see what all's going on. There's a room behind me there. There's a room behind me with the door open. Normally I have that door shut. That is, it used to be, I still call it the work room because that's where I did all my hobby and my work and anything I could bring into the house to work on. That was always the work room. I had a tool chest in there and shelving and all my hobby stuff was all in there. But when I took over this room to make my layout train table, I gave that room to my daughter as a sewing room, so it's really her work room now. But anyhow, some of you may remember a few weeks ago we talked about we had plumbers in here because we're constantly backing up. The kitchen sink, at least twice a year we have to call in plumbers, and they run 50-foot long, 75-foot long snakes down through it and clear it out. Well, finally, one guy said, I'm going to send a camera down there and see why I keep coming out here every 6 months. I should not come out here this often. And he said, ha-ha, and he found a hole, and our original estimate was 12 inches. It wound up, it was an 18-inch hole down in under our house. So yesterday, we dug out 6 inches of concrete, 5.5 feet long in there. And then the plumber came in and put new drainage piping under the house. And then we filled it back up with concrete. I was also, we've had a section of lighting in my garage that's been out for a while. It really doesn't affect me because it's the one light in the middle of the garage, and our two garage door openers have their own light. So if you move, and they're motion sensitive, so if you move, you have lighting in there. Hey, Sparky, how are you? We're just getting about to. Yeah, Codfather. This is where the crazy guy sings. Is that a new nickname? And I know you by another name and another page. Hey, Jim at Hover Motion. Gus, how are you? Anyhow, so this is the part that Sparky would be intrigued in, being an electrician. Anyhow, hey, Dwight Curley, welcome in. So, anyhow, so yesterday we ripped out and did the plumbing and we fixed a pipe, but when they got out, we had to take out 5.5 feet of pipe from under the house. So we had to rip a hole in our foundation back here and put in the plumbing. But it's good. Everything's running fine. And there's no 18-inch hole in the pipe anymore. So that was interesting. But anyhow, I've been working on my garage this week with the electrical because one part has gone out and I thought it was just the plug, which it was. The plug had just burned out. A 50-year-old toggle switch had finally just shorted out or whatever. And I put that in, did it. But Joyce decided she also wanted some motion sensitive exterior lights on the garage. And so there was a light system there that hasn't worked in years. So we took it out and unfortunately we've discovered more of my previous homeowner's handiwork. I have lived in this house 28 years. 28 years. And the previous owner was a professional electrician. I went and hired this guy to tie my shoes. For the last 28 years, I have been fixing his mistakes. Now, my father was an electrician, and I learned basic home wiring, okay, and auto wiring as well. But my father was an electrician, although he didn't work as an electrician per se. He was a maintenance supervisor at a factory. So he had to do plumbing and electrical and everything. But anyhow, anytime I've had to fix something in this house or rebuild a section of this house, I've had to redo all this dude's electrical, and it's annoying as hell. And so what should have been a quick and easy job, take out the light, put a new light system in, no. I opened up a can of worms in there, and so now I have to rip out the soffit in the front of my garage and be able to get in there, because this guy, for a professional electrician, doesn't understand you can't just run a wire from a junction box and just run it through the insulation and down to a lighting fixture. And this is what this guy did, not the original homeowners, because even in 1957 they had junction box rules. And it's just amazing a lot of the corners this guy cut and hid when he remodeled this house in 1987. Hi, Chris. How are you? So, yeah, Barely and Stephen Price. How are you? Nice to have you. Anybody else I missed coming in? Jackie came in. And hi, Z Fantasy Trains. So, yeah, it's been a lot of DIY home repair and hard work in one case, nightmare in the other, because every time I have to go back and fix this professional electrician's home repair jobs, it turns into a nightmare. I mean, every time I open a light socket, it looks like 5 octopus are having an orgy in the sockets. And it's just, what were you doing? What were you thinking? I am not a professional electrician, but I know what code is because my dad. And I know what shouldn't be. When I redid this basement, the lighting in here, first of all, was very dark. He had a drop ceiling and fluorescent lighting in here. But when you open it up, he's got wires running all over the place. And again, this was not original home construction. This is what this guy did. Oh my God, it's a nightmare. Yeah, it's like because they're pro, they know the shortcuts they think they can take. You know, I can do this. I don't take shortcuts. My dad would be smacking me from the other world if I ever took an electrical shortcut. And I know when I can touch something and when I need to leave it to a pro. And that's what I'm debating with the garage right now. Do I rip that soffit out and see if I can do it myself, or do I call in pros who are going to rip the soffit out? I don't want to spend, I could try to do it myself and then call in the electrician, because if I wind up, I can do it myself. But oh my goodness, what a disaster, my garage. Now, fortunately, it's only one, well, it's two lights. There's a light in the middle of the garage and a light outside the garage that are on the same circuit from the house. And Joyce wanted motion sensitive lights inside and out in the garage to lighten up the garage. But she's becoming more and more concerned about security in the neighborhood. Cars have been broken into in here and there. Maybe it's a start, but I think it's a little bit over exaggeration. We park our cars in the garage or in the garageway, and usually the cars that have been broken into, and maybe 3 in the last year, have been people who park on the street. Let's see. Andrew, March West Junction came in. Nice to have you, sir. Nice to have you. Anybody else? So this guy, I've spent years rebuilding parts of this house. I've basically rebuilt most of this house myself now, with help of plumbers at certain points where it's either I have to have it inspected and certified, which is what we had to do yesterday. So we tore out the concrete. The plumber came in and did the piping, and then the inspector came in and checked that the plumbing was in properly and that the concrete was adhered to properly, and then left. So, that's all good. And so hopefully we won't be spending $200 to $300 twice a year. And it's always usually around Easter and around Thanksgiving where our sink backs up. But it's been going for years. So 10 years at $200 to $400 a year. Already we've spent $3,000 to $4,000 more on this than we should have. Hey, Leslie, how are you? So, Chris, I'm going to keep guessing. The Codfather, is that Christopher or is that somebody else? But, yeah, so that was the ups and downs. We finally got this done. I've got to leave this room. I've got crap all over that you guys can't see. It's all over and under my layout, all the stuff that went in that room. The other big deal, so let's see, plumbing and electrical. We've had another heat wave. We've been in the 90s off and on. It's going to cool down. And his DIY family. Yeah, been there, done that. I consider myself handy enough that I have gone and, like I said, I've rebuilt most of this house myself, redone, including this basement, my kitchen and dining room. Now, again, we hire pros to do certain things. So we had to have pros come in and do the concrete, foundation. And then I worked with the constructor and we did the exterior framing, the interior framing. And then we hired pros because we wanted them to do matching brick to the brick we already had on the house. So I had masons come in through the contractor who then did the outside of the house because I'm not a mason. And then I did the interior, which I'm quite proud of. And then a few years ago, I rebuilt the basement, rebuilt the basement a couple of years ago, rebuilt the bathroom, the main bathroom, and I was all set to do the bedroom this year. The only house I haven't remodeled is Joyce and I's bedroom, which is a converted attic. And I was going to remodel that this summer, but that got put on hold because of that. Because that cost a lot of money to get done. Anyhow, on the flip side, I did something stupid. I know, a lot to babble about here when I should be running trains. But let me do the magic here and see if it's still here. Which one do I want to show? This one, but there we go. And I will now stretch this out and bring this forward. Is that the one I'm on? So, bing, bing. There we go. And this one. I've talked about it and got encouraged by a couple of other people, but we have started a, we've got Teesprings, okay? I have started some Teesprings here. We've got a few designs my daughter did. We were trying to keep it simple, but the page is set up on Teesprings. It's called the Model Train Outsider. And I just have different colors showing here. Again, this is just all different types of t-shirts, but if you click them on, for example, we have a Rusty Twanger World Tour from the Matt Clark bit. So actually all our shirts right now are Matt Clark related. But, you know, if I just do, whoops, I'm on the wrong, here we go. If I click on this, so on one side you have Rusty Twanger, the Cowpoke Crooner. That's on the front. And then on the back, we made it like a concert t-shirt. So there are tour dates. It's 1891, The Weird Nights in the Wild West tour by Rusty Twanger. And so we've got tour dates as well. Most of these are kind of a pun, and my daughter added this one. We have May 28th to 30th at Big Gulch with Nancy McGill, and the Nancy is crossed out, and I don't know how well you can see that. Depends on the size of the screen you're looking at. The Nancy's crossed out, and Lil is written in. So we have the Rusty Twanger concert tour, 1891 concert tour t-shirts. You sell tea bags. Oh, no. Let's be polite here and not here, Codfather. I'd hate to have to block or delete. Anyhow, so if I go back, so there's men's and women's t-shirts. So we're just trying to show off all the different colors, hoodies, whatever. I mean, again, you can design it for free. There we go. So we got all kinds, and we have it with, there's light print, dark print, there's light print and dark print. So depending on color combinations and that, there's kind of things. And then the other one we have is, if anybody liked it, we have the It's All a Bunch of Horse Poop t-shirts. So again, there's all different styles and sizes because again, you can set it all up any way you want. So it's all a bunch of horse poop. And again, we have that as, and there's nothing on the back, but we have it in dark print and white print on darker shirts. Plus we also have, if you wanted to do coffee mugs and even cell phone cases. We just threw the design on everything, and then if anybody thought this was silly enough or wanted to have a little memento, I would be shocked if we sell one t-shirt, but actually a couple of people said they would be interested in the t-shirts. So that is the store. Did we do coffee mugs for, we did the bag, but we didn't do coffee mugs for the Rusty Twanger Tour ones. We just did t-shirts. So anyhow, that is, that's that. So it's, the store is called the Model Train Outsider. And again, I've ordered a couple of samples. I was hoping one would come in today so that I could be wearing it, but there it is. So, anyhow, let's go ahead and get some trains running, and the rest of that can take care of itself later. That's another thing. I was working on a train, and well, trying to fix a train. So no new train purchases for me, Jim. I don't know if you were saying that for yourself. Nothing new for me. I've got 2 trains I'm waiting for the repair bill on, and I'm still waiting for my ICE4. But yeah, doing the plumbing and the electrical has tapped into some of my train money again. So, so what am I running today? I'm running all my double deckers. So those of you that like the double deckers, we have those guys out and about. And okay, he's gone. And then I've got the Railjet back out after a couple of weeks off, and I'm still running my ICE3. So that was my week. How was your guys' week? It's all about me. The trolls under the bridge. Okay, so yeah, there you go. Everybody get a close-up. Hey, Hardcore, you are okay? Let me see. I'm trying to make sure I haven't missed anybody. And in between that, I've been trying to catch up. Today was a busy day. Just nipping out for a beer. Very busy work week. Yeah, technically my weeks aren't busy right now. I'm off work, but I've been getting into all the necessary DIY projects. Joyce wants to, we need to get out our, okay. That's when they both cross there. Joyce wants to get out our kayaks and start hitting the river here, so I think we're going to do that Monday. All right, let's go back to scene 3. Hey, Jean Ricard, how are you? Bought a Bachman Thomas Loco, and it stopped running after 3 hours. Boy. Well, hello, the Closet Branch. Welcome in. Welcome in. All right, we're going to play that game today, are we? I put my red Regio Bond on lane 5, and because it's got that bad bogey, when it hits this one turnout, it can make everything pause for a second. It doesn't do it consistently, just every now and then, apparently. All right, guys. Whoops. Did you go off already? All right. The other thing is I'd have to show it on this camera. This would be the easiest camera. My son-in-law, I've built a wall here, a fortress now, gave me an old monitor of his so that I could, because this computer was acting up, and he said, well, you could use this monitor to do what you're using this computer to do. And I'm still getting used to, as I slide the mouse now slides between two monitors, so I can do all these different things here. Hello, Rick R. Welcome in. So my daughter's been doing a lot of design work for her dad. I've been doing some rough ideas. If anybody noticed, I changed my logo again. And just working on new designs. There we go. Ah, that sounds nice, Rick. Happy anniversary. Yeah, Joyce and I's anniversary is just over 2 weeks from today. And Joyce actually has distant family in Fostoria. Great aunts and uncles on her mom's side of the family. Her mom's side of the family is from Fremont and Fostoria. For those of you wondering, Fostoria is a small town southeast of where I live in Toledo. Toledo, called the Glass City. Toledo for a while was called the glass capital of the world because more glass products, from fiberglass to drinking glasses, were made in Toledo than anywhere else in the world. Fostoria is a train hotspot. That I wouldn't know. Leslie says he was Litchfield, Stafford, and Crewe. That's better. I never know which view is best, catching it right here. Catch the IC2 and the railjet going up the ramp, and then into the station. Yes, we are a very fragile city. That's why we collapsed. We're just part of the Rust Belt. And of course, many of you know that I talked about it before. Jeeps were built here. Jeeps are built here. They started, I think, in Pennsylvania, but Willys brought them to Toledo. Yeah, Jean Ricard, I'm 57, and when I was 7, Toledo had a population of about 430,000 people. Now we have a population of about 300,000 at best. So we've lost a quarter of our city's population over the last few years. From 430,000 to barely 300,000. And we might be below 300,000. Yeah, we'll watch the railjet come into the... One more time. See, I keep forgetting, don't put the red Regiobahn on lane 5. That's my first rule. Don't put the red Regiobahn on lane 5. And what did I do today? I put the red Regiobahn on lane 5. So yes, when you see him stop like that, that is because that bad bogey on the red Regio hits that bad turnout. Yeah, maybe I'll change it. Yeah, we'll see. It's the only train that does it, though. It's that red Regiobahn. Combination of bad bogey and that crappy turnout. Oh, well. Let's go to the multi-view again. Oh, it's just me. Genre card, it is the American Rust. Toledo is part of what in America they call the Rust Belt, the old automotive and steel industry strip that runs from eastern Pennsylvania, maybe further east, but eastern Pennsylvania all the way through Chicago, where all the car industries were, mostly Detroit, Toledo, but the steel industries of Pennsylvania, the rail industries going to Chicago. We're part of what's called the Rust Belt, and all the old manufacturing of this country is in this region. And the city just, the jobs died. You know, in 1960, everything was built here in the United States. Now, everything's built in China, Vietnam, Mexico, South Korea, or somewhere else, as far as American products go. I know that's true in other countries as well. We're not alone in that. So when the factories closed down, people moved. What about fixing the bogey? I've tried and failed. So I need to send it off, but it's one of 2 trains that need to be sent for repairs, and 2 trains are already gone. One of 3 trains, 2 are gone. And I've got 2 others that I need to go. And not through any fault of theirs, through my faults. Like, this guy is acting up ever since I dropped him. Actually, no, this guy is acting up ever since 2 years ago we had the basement dug up, and one of the workers didn't know there was a train, even though I had told his foreman there's a train, and he took a big slab of cement and set it on my train table right on that car. And I've tried to fix the bogey. I've even tried to buy a replacement car, but you can't find it. I've been looking for Miraklin 43571s. So again, it's not anything faulty with the car. It's just been treated badly. Hey, David Cook, there you are. You're stock in work. Okay. Another cool video again today, Stuart. Nice to have you here. But so again, my track product, when something goes wrong with my stuff, it's user error. The stuff I have is quality. I see guys talking about their Bachmans and their problems they have with their Bachmans or their BLIs, this American company, locomotives or cars or what have you. Everything I have bought, especially from Miraklin, has been excellent and runs great out of the box. Oil it first and run it in, but they're excellent. Everything that I have a problem with is, for example, my one ICE2 that is in California being repaired, that's because students dropped it at work a couple of years ago, and I finally got around to sending it out to get fixed. This one train with the bad bogey, that's just somebody said, oh, I need to set this rock down that he dug up out of the floor and put it in the middle of my train table on top of a car. Now, I'm to blame because I should have boxed my cars up and put them away, but I felt like I didn't have a lot of time because literally they called on Monday and said, oh, by the way, if you want to save 10% on the job, let us come in tomorrow. And so literally we had to empty the basement, and there was just no way I could have dismantled this entire train system and taken it down. What is that? Oh, the Toshiba is working. Okay, Toshiba, behave. Yeah, I got to remember which car it is, but again, if I just turn that train off, you'll notice that the little stalling bit the layout goes through ends. And you'll notice it doesn't happen every time because he just crossed it and it hasn't happened in a bit. So we got everybody saying hi to everybody. And again, if I run it on any other lane, it's not a problem. It's just that train, that lane. I try to do the basic maintenance of my trains. Oil them up, clean the tires. I probably don't clean the wheels. I probably don't clean the wheels as often as I should, but I do it a couple of times a year. I clean the track. Well, hello, Roberts. Thank you for coming in. I clean the track probably, if I'm honest, every 2 months. I probably should clean it once a month at least. But I clean my track. So that time he did stop. Which car is it? I forget which one's the bad bogey. Yeah, the bogey, and it's not even the wiring. It is the bogey is bent upwards and awkward, so normally a bogey should sit level. This one is bent like that because it kind of got bent to crush. So it's a combination of that bad point and that bad bogey. And like I said, it doesn't do it every time. And it's the only place I have trouble with it, and it's been a while, so I forgot. And see, this time he went over it, so I don't know why it happens sometimes, why not. But it's also a bad point. That's the same point that I've had trains derail at. It's a bad point. I need to take it out. I'm lazy. If you want to know the answer to most of my why don't I or have I, it's because I really am very lazy. During the school year, I run my trains as long as everybody's running smooth. I don't mess with that stuff. It's only when I'm sitting down doing my live feed and, oh yeah, I've got Red Regio on lane 5 that I go, oh, boy. Oh, hello, Damien. Nice to have you here. Hey, Gareth, long time no see. How have you been, sir? Yeah, Jean-Ricard, I don't know what a proper regularity of cleaning track is. I know I've gone 6 months without cleaning my track at times, and then do a and when I say clean my track, that's usually just running my I'll pull them back here, and let's go to the big view. Yeah, Jean Ricard, I don't know if you can see them there, but my 3 Lux cleaners. I do those once every couple of months. Actually getting out and hand cleaning the track and getting the grease off, because I can put my hand on these tracks right now and I will get oil and grease on them. It's time to clean them. That finger wasn't that dirty a minute ago. That's not levels of how far I dug into my nose. Yeah, it's time to clean my track. And just to prove it, I'll do it with my middle finger. So you can see how clean my middle finger is. I don't want to flip everybody off here. And I also don't want to give the British flip off either here. Although that would have been that way, but... so, there's my middle finger. Do you think my track needs cleaned? It's time. Yes, although, Robert, I run 3 rail, so the power all comes through the middle. Yeah, and I don't use IPA. I don't use IPA, and I use a soft foam, hard foam. It's weird. Soft, hard foam. It's a hard sponge, but it's a hard foam, and that really cleans the track well without any residual damages. Oh, all right. Oh, all right. Uh-oh. Okay. But again, the trains, you guys are here, they run well. And like I said, there is 2 glitches, or the same glitch in 2 different ways. I have a bad turnout. You guys have been hearing me talk about that bad turnout for months. No, I still haven't changed it. I even have spare turnouts. So if I were one of those watch me work on a live feed, I could set up the camera and go put this turnout, motorized and digital already, right in that place right now. Except I would have to crawl across the table to do it, leave big knee prints in my terrain, and that's one of the reasons I don't do it, because to go change that turnout, I have to pull this whole massive table out, and that's not fun, and that requires about 4 or 5 people, because I'm not sectional. Hey, Steve87, how are you? Yeah, microfibers are good too. I just tend to use what I have spare, and I go, hey, this would work. My cleaning drawer. I've shown this many, many, many times. Do I have something? Yeah, right here. Okay. Okay. Now, all of you guys that have built layouts, you know this foam that comes in the Woodland Scenics track bedding. Now, a lot of guys use cork, so you don't use this, but a lot of you would recognize this anyhow. The stuff I use is similar to this, but thicker and denser. And that is two different things, thicker and denser. And all I do is glue it onto a wooden block. You can see how thick it is. But this is a sponge rubber. And it's time to replace this one. But this came in packing. This comes in packing. It's sitting around. I've got a sheet, 2 foot by 2 foot. I cut it into a bunch of little sections. I glue it onto a wooden block. And it cleans these tracks nicely. Hey, Roy, how are you? Hi, Lee. So I just take this a couple of times a year. Where's my camera here? And I would just go over to my track. And I just run it along there like a buffer. It takes up the grime, cleans them up nicely, and no chemicals, no harsh abrasives, so no damage done, but it picks up the grease. There's just enough strength in the foam that it does remove some of the grease. And again, a couple of people have already mentioned that some of the grease that builds up actually is good for electrical conduction. But too much becomes an issue, especially when the cars are powered, the lights are powered through the bogies of the connected to the wheels, and you can get too much dirt in there that causes flickering and stuff like that. But again, I am a noob, and everything I bought was to recognize that I am a lazy person. So I buy sturdy models that can usually take the abuse, track that's easy to build and work with. And yes, every now and then you get a lemon, you get a bad turnout. That can't be helped anybody anywhere. Or it wears out. If it's black, how do I know it picks the black? Because then I come through with the white cloth to test. Excuse me a second. Hey, what's up? No, Mom just ran over to Uncle Tom's. What happened? And you need your... All right, I'll signal Mom, okay, and tell her to come over to you, okay? All right, bye. Bye. Sorry, family emergencies. Give me a second. My daughter is at work and is having an asthma attack, and Joyce has the spare inhaler. Yes, I'm probably going to get call not a strike, but copyright claim for that. But yes, my ringtone is Motorhead's Ace of Spades. Hi, Ewan. How are you? Uh, Joyce? Right, right. Did you get a text from Liz? Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. All right. So I need to take it to her. All right. All right. Well. All right. All right. All right. Bye. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's true. See, Joyce isn't home because she's over at her brother's house because he hasn't been responding to messages. This is the brother with ALS. So Joyce went over to his house, and then my daughter just called, and Joyce has her inhaler. So, yeah, my daughter was, when she was in third grade, I want to say. It was third grade, whatever age that is. 8-ish, 8 to 9. She caught pneumonia. Well, it started in 8th grade, but over a 3-year period, she had pneumonia 4 times. Now, I don't know how many of you deal with pneumonia, but pneumonia is something that requires a year to heal. A year after you're over it, your lungs need a year to heal. And she had, did I say 4 times in 3 years? 3 times in 4 years. She kept getting it, so she's got lung damage. This is not my daughter, who's the mother of my grandson. This is my other daughter. Yeah, so my daughter has damaged lungs, and she has a degree in landscape design, and she went to, she works for the company Lowe's, which is a big American box store, DIY store. They hired her in to work in the gardening department. And then one day they needed somebody, and they had her go over to paint, and she hasn't been out of the paint department in 2 years. And she also works in flooring. So she doesn't even work in her degreed area. She's constantly in paint or flooring and never in the garden area. Hi, Heath. How are you? But, yeah, she gets, sometimes the chemicals or the paint gets to her, and she doesn't have her inhaler on her, and Joyce has her spare inhaler, or her other inhaler ran out, and Joyce has the spare inhaler. So I'm trying to get a hold of Joyce, trying to get a hold of Liz, and yeah, bronchitis is not fun either. Joyce has asthma, and Liz just has bad lungs. Which train is that, Steve? This, oh, that one. Yeah, the little DMU. It is similar. It's not the same one, but it is similar. I think the German, this is a 648, and the German equivalent is a 422 or a 424. It's all part of that amazingly efficient German labeling system. All locomotives have 3 numbers. The first number is either a 0 for steam, 1 for electrical, or 2 for diesel. If the second 2 numbers are 50 and below, they're usually passenger service, or they are passenger service. And if they're 51 or higher, they're freight or multi-service. They can do freight or some passenger service. And then if it starts with a 4, it's an electrical and EMU unit that's not pulled with a locomotive. For example, the technical running numbers of my ICE for the ICE 3 is 406. 4 saying it's an electrical DMU. I'm sorry, DMU. EMU. Ooh. A little distracting. Cut me some slack on that one, all of you giggling at me. He said electrical DMU. So the official numbers of the IC3s are DB406. The Valero is DB407. The ICE1 was a 401. The ICE2 was a 402. So 400 indicates that it's EMU. 600 is its diesel. So that is a 648. And then there's the 624 and the 424. Well, hello, John Dawson. How are you? Hope you guys are having fun. Yeah, that just is continuing the crazy week it's been. But I put all the double deckers out. I actually had different plans for trains, and the plumbing work actually took less time than expected. I was figuring it'd be about 10 hours. It took about 7 because we were able to quickly say, okay, the pipe is still good here and the pipe is still good there. Cut out the bad section and splice in. My grandson is cranky. My daughter might be listening in. He no longer will eat from a bottle. Now, he is primarily breastfed anyhow, but he would take bottles. Now, like when we babysit, he won't take the bottle. And Lynn says he doesn't take the bottle at home either. That he is strictly all natural. Apparently, he's very organic. My grandson follows in his liberal family's footsteps. Very organic. But no, he's great. He's getting big. We just saw him this morning. Went over and visited for a bit this morning. And he's my grandson. I can't say. I just always love seeing him. Because I missed my kids when they were little. So when I see my grandson, the only negative thought I'm thinking is, let's go! Grow up! Come on! I've got stuff to do with you. I got footballs to throw around, trains to run. Come on, kid, let's grow up. Come on, you're 6 months old. You should be able to do this now. I'm a very impatient grandfather. And yes, I know they'll grow up too soon. My youngest is 26. Will be 26 in a couple of days. Well, in a month, not a couple of days. But yeah, it's... He's been a blast, but he goes from content to pissed off in seconds. Which could be his grandfather's trait and his mom's trait. All us Dodgers can have short tempers. And those of you just catching in, the little stalling there is because I accidentally put my little red Regio Bond going by me. I put him on the wrong lane. He's got a bad wheel, and he goes over the bad turnout, and the combination causes, every now and then he hits it at the wrong angle or something, and it causes a microsecond pause. If I were to turn him off, you wouldn't see the pause, but I know what it is. I know why it's happening, and it's been so long since I ran him on the inside lane, my brain forgot, don't run the red Regio on lane 5. Lanes 1 through 4, he runs great. Lane 5, he cuts out on that turnout. And of course, I still, months later, year later, need to replace that turnout. Just like 2 years later, I need to replace that blinking light. Yeah, my oldest is 30, will be 33 this year. Where does the time fly? My youngest is 20, will be 26 in July. And then my other daughter will be 29 in July. I don't have to worry about those teenage years. I already did my 3 with teenage years. That's the best part about being a grandpa. You get all the positives of being a parent, and the negatives you can hand back to the parents. Your kid's being grumpy, take him. Besides, grandparents can spoil kids the way parents can't. We can make parenting hard for parents. It's just great having a little one around again. Although, again, I don't want anything to do with the kids till they're 2. Joyce hates it when I say that. Once they're walking and talking, then hand them over. I've got the G.I. Joes and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I got games. I've got electric football. I've got real football and baseballs. And yeah, once they're ready to move, hand them to me. When all they are is an eating and poop machine, nah. Wow, Tim. Yeah, my kids are all tall. I'm almost 6'4". Let's say 6'3.5". The minute I put on shoes, I'm 6'4". The minute I put on a pair of sandals, I'm 6'4". But my daughters are 5'11". My son is 6'2". Joyce is the short one. She's somewhere between 5'7" and 5'8". She's the short one. She has to walk around the family all the time like this. She's got a sore neck all the time because to talk to the kids, to talk to me, I'm surprised her neck hasn't frozen that way. The only ones she could talk down to are the cats. Get off of that! Yeah, that's the only thing Joyce can look down at. So she needs a grandma. Hey, Nancy, how are you? What happens at Oma's and Opas stays at Oma's and Opas. There's that. Yeah, well, Tim, Alice Cooper didn't have that either. He's in his 70s. He didn't die young. And he doesn't have a good-looking living body, much less a corpse. The only thing he's got is he's still got his hair. But when you're that rich, you never know. Yes, Jean Ricard, that is on my wait list. That is on my to-buy list. In fact, what I'm going to do, Jean Ricard, is I'm going to build it into my layout as an off-ramp where the cars can come off the ramp, go through the wheel cleaner, and then go straight back onto track again. But the nice thing about the Lux wheel cleaner is it's so long. Now, I've seen a couple motorized ones. Roco has one that you can set up and just put the car on and run it. There's a couple other versions, but yeah, the Lux wheel cleaner is definitely on the buy soon list. Now, Father's Day is coming up. I suppose I could talk my wife and kids into getting it for me. Yeah, Kurt Cobain, Steve. Kurt Cobain did the live fast, die young bit, but I don't think he wanted that. Even if he thought he wanted that. And that's why I just went through the changes I've gone through in the last year and a half. I'm almost down to the weight I was. I'd have to lose 10 more pounds. I have to lose 10 more pounds to get to the weight I was when I married. I spent my 20s and 30s. Well, I weighed 215 when I got married. I weighed 215. And then, actually having a wife who could cook, I put on 10 pounds, 225. But I played all kinds of sports and coached sports and was very active in my 20s and 30s. And so I weighed in the 220s into my late 30s. In my late 30s, I had a knee injury that laid me up for a bit. And I put on 10 pounds I just could not seem to lose. And then in my early 40s, I stopped coaching. I stopped playing sports. And I just ballooned. No, I've got it on my my wish list at Lipa, Jean Ricard. It's on my wish list at Lipa. Let's see if I can find it. Motor Bond Shop, Lipa. All right, Jean Ricard here. Let me pop this up. Computer view, online. There we go. So this is my Lipa wish list. This is not what I've ordered. This is just my wish list. So if you look at the very bottom, there it is. And you can see the discount I get for this one item. Manufacturer suggested retail price, the RRP if you're in the UK, the MSRP in the United States, manufactured suggested retail price, 220 euros. Lipa sells it for 209. But because I'm a part of their Savers program, I would get it for 175. It asked me to translate German. I don't need German translated. So, yeah, it is definitely on the list of things to get. Where am I at? Yeah, just. There we go. Now I'm back in order. But I've got the Lux cleaning cars behind me, as you saw. Let me see. Yeah, Joseph, I used to I had electric footballs from when I was a kid. It was one of my favorite things. And so I had a couple of them that I played with until my kids got older, and then I sold them at a garage sale a few years ago to do a fundraiser. We were doing a garage sale to fundraise for taking my students to Germany. And I was like, nobody plays with this anymore. But a side business I had in my 20s, 30s, and very early 40s was I was a toy collector. I collected and sold toys. And I would buy at garage sales or yard sales, whatever, boot sales as you'd call them in the UK. Anybody that had electric football and they said, well, it doesn't work, I'd say, no problem. And I'd fix them up, and then I would turn around and sell them at toy shows. I would go to toy shows and sell them. And, repaired, warranted, and I would fix them up and do that. But I always had my own, and I had almost all the NFL teams. And we'd play electric football, but gradually my kids moved on to video games and would rather play Madden. But they did like getting out the electric football and playing electric football. But I would fix those and repair them. But I sold action figures and games and stuff like that. All right, Leslie, take care. Thank you for stopping in. Always an honor to have you here, sir. Take care. All right, John, you also take care. All that old Danish detective series. Yeah, and speaking of Facebook memories, a student of mine from a few years ago put up a big memory, which, made me feel good. She obviously got a Facebook memory of her trip to Germany, so she shared that, and she just kind of mentioned me and that. Oh, that was kind of nice. Kids, she was just saying what a great trip, but she was thanking her former teacher for doing it and all that. Is what DC or DCC? Or is Heath just trying to start trouble again? Save that for your page, your YouTube shows, Heath. Because technically I am DCC. But the problem is, if you're outside of Germany or the American world, DCC is just your digital command control. But in the German train world and European trains, DCC is just the digital language. There's DCC and there's American Motorola. And people go, well, and then there's MFX and MFX Plus, which is all the same thing as American Motorola, just upgraded. And so people go, well, what's MM? And they go, oh, it's something different from DCC. Well, it is and it isn't. MM is also a form of DCC, and nowadays everybody makes, like even American now makes their decoders with the MFX Plus language and the DCC language in the decoder, so you can put it on a DCC based layout. But my Central Station 3 reads the DCC language and the American languages. But basically, in European trains, if you're doing digital, the trains are either encoded DCC or the American ones. And American started with MM, American Motorola, then they changed it to MFX, and now it's MFX Plus. But also, there's a Scaletronic is a language that works, and the Central Station can read it, which is used on some things. All right, Roberts, thank you for stopping in. Yeah, I'll usually be around on People's on Fridays now. The thing is, I end this at dinner time, and then Joyce and I usually either do some running on Friday nights, but we try to get in. Heath does his morning show, we do ours, and then Vinny does his later. But I try to make as many shows as I can make. So Fridays are laundry day. Saturdays are laundry day. Joyce does the laundry. I always tell her, I'll do the laundry. And she's like, no. And then she complains, I do the laundry and I do this. I'm like, I said, I'll do the laundry. No. Now, if I take over washing the dishes, she'd be happy with that. But basically, washing the dishes is rinsing them off and load them in the dishwasher. What happened? You got stopped by a train? Joyce is running emergencies and she got stopped by a train. Are you going back to Liz now? I'll wait till she comes back. Well, hi, Andy. Ah. Well, actually, we now do that more and more. First of all my shirts have to be hung dry. So if the weather's nice, Joyce hangs them outside. If they go in the dryer, they shrink and don't fit me anymore. I used to have to buy triple X shirts when I was a double X because the triple X's would shirt, so the sleeves would be down here. This is an extra large, which I bought 9 years ago. I bought this in Munich 9 years ago, 2012. No, it was 2009. I bought this in 2009, so it's a 12-year-old shirt. I haven't been able to wear it for years because I put on so much weight. This was an extra large, and I was wearing 2X and 3X shirts. Now I can wear it without a problem, but if Joyce were to wash it, it would shrink. Let me see. No, Jean Ricard, those other shows aren't American. There's one other guy that does a American show in English, and then all the other American shows I watch are German. And I tend not to watch those a lot because, wow. You don't want to talk with your mouth. You don't want to type with your mouth full. Or if you were eating a sandwich, you don't want to type with your hands full. That would be the equivalent. Yeah, what I really should do is, I don't want to go to StreamYards or whatever. If there's a way in OBS I could pop other people up and have people come up and chat, but then I'd want all of you coming up and chatting. Otherwise, it would just be, well, it'd be chaos if everybody was up and chatting too. But I don't want to do one of the, there's too many other people doing the, I don't want to say too many. There's a lot of people doing the, hey, let's build together and chat, and the interview shows. And this really is self-gratification. I've always felt very isolated in this hobby since I got into it, and YouTube was how I started meeting people. And so when I started doing, I've got some people that have left my channel because I don't do my shows anymore. I don't do the American shows. I've been doing nothing but live streams or the Matt Clark stuff, which were part of the live streams. Speaking of which, if you guys will forgive me, I want to do one thing here real quick. Whoops, not that one. What's the right link? What's the right link? Yeah, I don't want to give you that link. Yeah, the one obnoxious thing about Teesprings is they don't give you a search bar. They don't give you a search option on Teesprings. Just cracking open a beer. I've got a bunch of Stella Artois in the refrigerator. I'm going to do this one more time and share this with everybody because none of you care, but I will do this anyhow. That's not the one you want to see. That's just you seeing you seeing you. This is the one to see. But yeah, Joyce and I have set up a Teespring store. My daughter's done her first couple of designs. But they don't make it easy to find the stores. You'd have to type Teesprings and Model Train. I'm trying to figure out the best way to share this. Yeah, again, that takes you to the wrong page. But yeah, we have a Teespring store for anybody interested. It's Model Train Outsider on Teesprings. I'm trying to find the link there. But yeah, there's all kinds. We've got the Rusty Twinger in white and dark print. So on the front, it's Rusty Twinger with his banjo, the cowboy crooner. On the back is the concert date tours from 1891, the Weird Nights in the Wild West tour. My daughter gave it that name because she wanted to make it like a tour concert. But we have all kinds of stuff. But it's Model Train Outsider on Teesprings. Apparently, I need to figure out how to do the store the easy way, where you get to it. But the colors, don't let the colors fool you. It's just showing you all the different colors. Some things become available in. But we have the Rusty Twanger, and then we got It's All a Bunch of Horse Poop, which is the one Joyce prefers. But hey, I already got one of those. And then you can even get coffee mugs. We're working on designs. Again, so it's just, yeah, it's the Model Train Outsider. Unfortunately, I'd love to be able to put the right link in here. I do have links on my other feeds, so maybe I should do that. So let's go back to trains now. Let's go back to trains now. And well, I'm not worried about that. I'm into all of that. So watching somebody build their layout during a live stream is cool. I don't do that. I have nothing to offer. If I'm not doing my cartoons or songs, it's just me babbling, responding to what you guys say, and you guys watching my trains go around a big table. Let me do something here real fast. Do it again, bow, bow, bow. This one, this one. No, this one. Don't worry if you hear something. Yep. Well, apparently this is the right way to do it. So, Here we go. Oh, you're doing the La Poste? That's cool. But that is the link to the Teespring shop. So I just posted the link there. All right, Jackie, bye. But if somebody's crazy enough and wants one of the 2 t-shirts, we've got more designs coming. The page is loaded because we just slapped something on there. So if somebody liked a certain type of t-shirt, you could get it, because they just have the t-shirts on the shelves and all the colors. And then when somebody orders something, they just take the computer design and print it. My daughter does the design because she knows how to make things transparent for this sort of process. And then these guys make it. And I get a percentage of the... It's like the t-shirt will cost $12 by itself. And then you set the price. So if I wanted to make an $18 profit, I'd sell the t-shirt for $30. I really try... I cut the prices back and reduced my profit margin low, because I'm not about making money, because I seriously don't think we would sell one or two, but we'll see. If you guys want to check one out and have, that's why I like the concert shirt. The Rusty Twanger shirt is just, it's one of those t-shirts you could wear and somebody goes, "Who's Rusty Twanger?" And you could just smile and go, you know, it's got the concert dates on the back, which pretty much all the names are joke names of places. It's got, you know, Joyce likes it's all a bunch of horse poop, because she thinks that would appeal to people not in on the joke, that somebody that just wants to have a negative message on their shirt. But, hey, Kieran, there you are. So that's we just put it out there because I wanted a couple of shirts and was going to make them myself. And Joyce was like, well, you know, a couple of people said they would buy a t-shirt if we made it. So we made it. Now, the It's Lil Damn It shirt that Joyce has, we have not made a copy of that because, again, now if somebody asked for that, then we might put it up. But we're doing other designs. Like, I'm trying to get we're in the process of designing a logo for my channel. I've never liked my homemade logo that I made, but I've used it. You know, if you watch my videos, the 2 ICE3s with the big MT and O in the circle, I've always wanted that to be done slightly differently, and my daughter is working on it. Yeah, Colin, that's the other one I do. That's one of the guys, I don't follow him, but I'm subscribed to him. One of the Black Mamba. I'd have to put my daughter on that one. I'm not sure how that would go over. Because some of the favorite things I would like to put out, I can't for legal reasons. Or the fear of legal reasons. My daughter made a onesie for my grandson that says "Aw Shucks" on it. But we don't have the picture of Smokey because that is a person who could come back and sue. Even though I took the picture off a public place, copyright can still be ensued. The map, that horrible thing I drew, If I could do a, what I might do is go into one of my old computer war games that gives you a map editor, and maybe try to draw the map that way. That might be fun, and then do it as a... That would be kind of funny. So that's an idea. But we were just going around talking about the Matt Clark stuff. We were just talking about, favorite lines and jokes again. Asking friends and family. Oh, I lost a subscriber already. I keep getting up to 878 and going down to 877. I have plateaued. It's finally happened. After a year of growth in the last 3 weeks, I have plateaued. But sort of to cheer myself up after some stuff, we kind of went through and listed some of our favorite jokes from each scene. So, no, Jean Ricard. The Black Mamba in Kill Bill is a reference to what we are also referencing in my show. A Black Mamba is a slang term for, I don't know the Danish word for it, a large black woman self-stimulation device, a dildo. It's also slang for a large black man's penis, which is probably where the slang for the sexual aid comes from. That's why I said this is 16 and over, kids. All right, Garrett, take care. So, the fact that the train was long and black, just immediately it became the Black Mamba. That joke was probably the first one outside of the character names that I wrote. So a Black Mamba is a large vibrator. Well, it doesn't have to vibrate, though, but you get the idea. Yes, it is. It's very American. It's Old West American. And I only watched 3 episodes of the show just so I could get an idea of what I wanted to do with it. But, so, yeah, the Black Mamba. And we took it because on the UK channels, there's a type of train. And you guys correct me because I don't know this stuff. Somebody says, I know everything. No, I don't. I know what I know and I know what I don't know. And that's a key, is knowing what I don't know. But there's a type of train I hear on the UK channels all the time called the Black 5. So I was making a joke of a Black 5 and called it a Black 10. It was twice the size of a Black 5. And the minute I said a Black 10, I immediately thought of the women's pleasure device and named the train the Black 5. So it was called the Black 10 first, and then became the Black Mamba. And that was the first actual joke outside the names I wrote for that show. So that train from the word go was going to be the Black Mamba, because it's a Black 10 in, 10 versus 5, and there's all kinds of sexual innuendo there. Okay, leave it at that. I'm over-explaining, sorry. So, it's, that's one of the first, well, not first jokes, but I think it's in scene 1. Why, it's twice as big and powerful as a Black 5. It's a Black 10, the Black Mamba. Ba-dum boom. Yeah, it is a type of snake. Okay, it's basically it's a type of cobra, I believe. It's from Africa. Okay, and so anaconda or black mamba. In fact, didn't Kobe Bryant, the basketball player, didn't he call himself the Black Mamba? And but anyhow, yeah, it was so yeah, it's slang for a sexual aid, a sexual toy. Sorry guys, I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. Appropriate phrase for a model train site. But yes, I have not started writing story, but I am looking at characters and keeping it all copyright free. So the characters like well, let's see, Matt Clark will be a new cartoon. There will be a new picture of Matt Clark. It will not be the old picture of Matt Clark, because if I want to do anything more with these or sell them, and I've cut around it, I'm using a picture of my great grandfather Reuben, or actually John, and he's going to get the mustache, and that picture is going to be Matt Clark. Can't come after me. It's my own great grandfather. There are a ton of adult jokes in Matt Clark because I wrote it with my twist. But there's jokes at every level. If there's hidden jokes, there's intellectual jokes, and again, I don't want that to sound conceited, because the whole point is there are jokes that you gotta, there are jokes that brainiac people would get that average people won't. Then there's jokes average people will get that brainiacs won't. That's why Shakespeare was so great. Shakespeare could write to the nobility and the groundlings. He could write to both. When Hamlet says to Ophelia, "Get thee to a nunnery," this is for those who hated Shakespeare because it wasn't taught well by your English teachers, who were scared to teach the truth. All right, there's a play, Hamlet. Hamlet is a ghost comes and says, "Hey, your uncle murdered me and is sleeping with your mom. Avenge me." The ghost of Hamlet's dad comes to him and says, "Yo, your uncle murdered me and is now sleeping with your mom. Get back. Get." And of course, Hamlet is like 16. Okay, he's 16 years old and just found out a ghost of his dad's visiting him, and he can't blame it on weed or coke or too many moose jars. He can't blame it on that. So Hamlet comes up with a plan where he can work against everybody, and the plan is to pretend he's going crazy so that everybody will give him a little room to maneuver, because he knows his uncle is plotting to kill him. Okay? Standard soap opera. So there's one scene where Hamlet knows that his girlfriend Ophelia could be used against him. They could kidnap her. They could lure him into a trap with her. So he's trying to break up with her to get her out of town. He wants her to get out of town. So there's this scene where Hamlet is alone with Ophelia, and he's talking insanity to her, and she's like, "Oh, Hamlet, just talk to me. Tell me what's wrong. Oh, Hamlet, let me help you. You've got to let me help you. What's going on?" And he's mocking her, making fun of her. He's trying to break up with her to save her life. But she's also being a naggy, busybody, joined at the hip girlfriend. There's a stereotype being played here. So in one scene, Hamlet explodes at her and says, "Get thee to a nunnery." Now the nobility that are watching Shakespeare plays, the upper class, the snobs, they're all like, "Yes, that's exactly what we would do. We would, in a time of war, civil wars or so forth like we've had in England over the last 150 years, We would send our children and our loved ones to a nunnery, a monastery, where they would be kept safe. That's what we would do. And the groundlings, nunnery was slang for a cat house, a whorehouse. So in that same scene, one line, get thee to a nunnery, plays to two different levels, the lowest level and the highest level, and it fits the plot. Because the groundlings, they're seeing the naggy girlfriend, he's saying, woman, hit the streets, that's how much I care about you. You know, go make your money elsewhere. Hit the streets and sell yourself, because you're a hoe. Because he's trying to insult her and get her to go away. The nobles, who don't understand street life, they're like, well, that's a very sensible man. He's trying to save his girl's life by telling her to go hide at a monastery until this drama is over. So this is the genius of Shakespeare, is he could play both sides. I'm not Shakespeare, but I endeavor to be able to write jokes that appeal at multiple levels. An anaconda is a big snake from South America, yeah. Supposedly they can get up to 30 feet. They say even larger. Andy Ambrose, what civil wars have you had in the last 100 years? In the last 100 years, none. But in Shakespeare's time we're talking, right? Shakespeare's time. Shakespeare's right in the early 1600s. Remember the Tudors, you had that whole Wars of the Roses in the 1400s up to 1485, and then you were only a few years away from the Roundheads and Cavaliers, the Cromwellian, which that's the one that's officially called the English Civil War, right? Because there's Wars of the Roses, there's the various dynastic civil wars while you're fighting with France and all that. But and the thing is, this is where playing those cartoons online and talking to you guys and reading your reactions here is painful, because very few people comment on the videos after I repost them, and I'll get a few laugh out louds, either during it or afterwards. A lot of you will go, hey, brilliant, Anthony. Of course, I feel good. But I don't know what you're laughing at, what you're not laughing at. I have my favorite jokes. And I don't know if anybody else ever found them funny, because I have my favorite jokes that Joyce goes, no. She knows it's funny, but not her type of funny. But like some of my favorite jokes, like from scene 1, the opening scene, when you meet the sheriff and the mayor, that line there, that was the second joke I wrote after the anaconda or the black mamba bit. Was this joke was written, and then I built the scene around it. Just what kind of a coward are you, Sheriff? The best kind, Mayor. I keep surviving. I love that line. That's still one of my favorite lines in the whole bit. Scene 2 had, and the cows were in on it, because I thought there was nothing funnier than a guy, again, the setup is meant to be funny. He's Hunk O'Beef, the Irish cattle rustler, and the pun, because a cattle rustler is somebody who steals cattle, except this guy's not actually stealing cattle, he's actually rustling them. Ich verstehe. I understand. Ach, klar. Smokey's first rant was good. No, Smokey, don't do this. No, Smokey, don't do that. No, Smokey, you're too little. No, Smokey, don't tell anybody about the pictures. The pictures bit. I love the Jimmy Crack Corn. I don't care. You cannot say that in this house now. And that's probably one of Joyce's favorites. Joyce loves the Jimmy Crack Corn. I don't care bits. Another favorite line is scene 8 Smokey comes into the bar, the saloon. He comes into the filthy glass saloon, and Walter yells at him, "Smokey, you know you're not allowed in here." "I know, but Matt Clark has me looking for the mayor," and blah, 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 you know. And Daisy looks at him, "Smokey, can I help you with something?" And Smokey says, "Yeah, but I think even in the Old West, it's probably illegal." Also in that scene is when the sheriff is explaining how his family has been cowards forever. He does the bit, "My grandfather fought at the Alamo and was the only survivor. He snuck out the night before dressed as a senorita. How he got past the Mexican pickets, he never would say." After the explosion, when Bobby's gang gets to the explosion site, you know, because her brother and Sal blew up the place and killed them both, and a bunch of cows and sheep. He says to him, she's like, you know, Joyce did the voice, so I can't. "My brother! Where's my brother?" "Based on the size of the explosion, I'd say Kansas by now." That's definitely one of my top 5 favorite lines. I loved Rusty. I love my Cocaine song. Rusty Twanger's lyrics to Cocaine. I loved writing that. That was fun. Yeah, there's the Goody Two-Shoes bit. Because there, again, if you know Adam Ant, the 80s singer, Adam and the Ants and Adam Ant, there's 40 or 50 song references that D&D, the character, makes that are, you know, like when he first steps in, "Stand and deliver." I mean, I could do a video just on all the Adam Ant references. In fact, that was Joyce. Joyce wanted us to do that for the giveaway we did a couple of weeks back. She wanted us to, how many Adam Ant song lyric references were there? And I was like, "Man, you think it's tough to go back and answer the 15 questions I came up with?" She was like, "Well, they don't have to go look. They just give a number." I was like, "I'd have to go back and count because there's around 50 of them. Some that you really have to be an Adam Ant fan to know, including lines from songs he released 3 years ago that nobody knew he released." Another favorite line, episode 15. Heath, I remember, liked this line. When Madame Lot is spanking Bobby in disguise. Remember, Bobby's disguised as a little girl to get on the train. And Madame Lot's spanking him. It's hard to hear, but she's like, "I normally don't believe in corporal punishment without profit, but in your case, I'll make an exception." I love that line. Corporal punishment without profit. Joyce likes in episode 16 when Madame Lot goes at Bobby when she knows it's Bobby and makes 5 different short jokes at Bobby. Just bang, 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 bang. "Oh, I also see you're short-tempered." My favorite line of all is in episode 17. And obviously it wasn't my favorite line until I wrote it. But in episode 17, when when the mayor is telling Daisy, Little Beaver, what happened, what really happened, where Daisy hates him and has been out to kill him, when he tells her what really happened, and then says, "Everything was going great at the peace treaty talks until I loaned my gun to your uncle, eyes that cross." It was Chief Hand on Heart and his brother, eyes that cross. And Daisy comes out of her hatred for a split second and looks at him like, "You gave my uncle a gun? We don't even give him a bow and arrow. We stick him out in front of the hunt and hope he pisses off a buffalo." I love that line. I don't know if anybody else ever cracked up at that. I crack up at that every time I mention it. I'm holding it back now, but I love that line. You gave him a gun. We don't even give him a bow. We stick him out in front on the buffalo hunts and hope he pisses a buffalo off. And then my second favorite line was the last scene where Smokey has got them all tied up. And they're like, Smokey, you got to untie us. You got to untie us. And Smokey's like, I want answers now. And Diesel Dan says, Smokey, Diesel Dan, if you say we need to have a talk one more time, I'm going to let you blow up. That's my bit. Yeah, A Million Ways to Die in the West was definitely a crazy, funny movie. And yeah, I mean, my comedy influences, again, you got to remember, I'm a failed stand-up comedian. And I failed because I didn't have the courage to really commit to it. Because I was scared of failure, scared of what happens to 95% of all stand-up comedians. They fail. It's like opening a restaurant. I was scared to commit to it for fear of, I don't want to be one of these guys living pay out to pay out, going to all the dives because after 5 years. Because a lot of my plans in life changed when I met Joyce. Because all of a sudden I need to be stable. I need to provide a stable income. But according to many of my students and Joyce and friends, I should have really given stand-up comedy a try. Bye, Lee! But, the thing is, whenever you do a comedy, you want to be careful not to copy. I mean, you can't do Blazing Saddles again. Blazing Saddles is awesome, and I don't want to steal any jokes from Blazing Saddles. And somebody said, I stole that joke from Blazing Saddles. I didn't want to steal some for Paint Your Wagon or A Million Ways to Die in the West, because then you're stealing somebody else's stuff. So you try to put in my own humor. Now, yes, my own humor is based on lots of things, but it's my own interpretations. That's all right, Randall. You're fine. I do all the chatting, and people get bored and leave. I think we had 27 at the most, and we're down to, I think, 20 now, which is nice. But, yeah, so I will tell you, I have watched the movie version a couple of times now. And, yeah, Joyce and I giggle through it. We still giggle through it. Like I said, it's I'm proud of it, if you can be proud of something like that. Considering it was the biggest piece of creative writing I've done in years. Maybe the typing out the script, which came out to... Now, this is a script, and it's not even a true telecast script. It's just lines. It's not stage directions or anything else. Because there's a lot more jokes I could have put in and other jokes I would have left out for visual. There's a lot of visual jokes that could have been done. Facial expressions. We tried to do that a couple of times. But, yeah, it's... and so that's one of the fears trying to do Matt Clark again. I don't want to just do repeats of the previous jokes. I don't want any more Donna Lott jokes. I mean, I'm sure I'll throw a couple in as callbacks, but in this show, it was a main running joke. In the next episode, when I start writing it, it would be just one or two times as, just sort of a callback. I can't decide what I'm going to do with Smokey now after his revelations. If you haven't seen the end, Smokey, for those of you who didn't like Smokey, well, without specifically, because even in the movie, it's not specific, but Smokey kind of got his comeuppance a bit. I just want to go home to my mommy and daddy now. BNSF-9, but lettered for GECX. General Electric Cross Country? What's GECX? I'll bite. Ping! Aha, that's the photo you were just sending. Isn't that funny? Randall sent you a photo. So, whoops. I guess I'll have to show it that way. There we go. So there's that locomotive. Yep, that's a BNSF. I recognize those colors now. I know my BNSF. What is it? What is BNSF? Baltimore Northern Santa Fe? See, I don't know that stuff. I don't know my American trains, people. I think I would recognize an F7, maybe an F9 diesel. That's it. It's a leasing company GE has. So, okay, so it was GE General Electric. Oop, let's go back to there. So, but I've created a lot of characters, and yes, we have a basic plot, but I haven't decided how I want it to end, and therefore, I haven't started writing. I don't start writing until I know where I'm starting and where I'm going to end. And I've got the first scene kind of in my head, but yes, I'm probably going to start writing the next week or two as Burlington Northern. All right, Burlington Northern. I was going with Baltimore and Ohio, the old B&O, which would be this area, the old B&O. B&O, which is different than B-O. Burlington Northern Santa Fe. Yeah, I would shorten it down to BNSF too. It's sort of like SHIELD when these multi-corporations. Yes, Jim. I'm a little surprised, but hey, there's so many channels out there. March West Junction has an awesome channel. If you haven't subscribed, do so. Although Andrew at March West has twice as many subscribers as I have, so most of you are subscribed to him before me. I'm serious, Joyce is, you know, earlier this year, Joyce was like, you're going to break 1,000 by summer. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I will level off. I don't know if I'll ever break 1,000. I've always said I doubt I will. And seeing as how we've leveled off, because especially with the live feeds, I got nothing to offer people that want to see a channel. The live feeds, people come and hang. I mean, I am looking at doing a couple of my old Model Train Outsider shows and bringing back the Ghost. I might bring back the Ghost of 2015 just to get rid of them. That was a cool shtick, but I haven't used him in, I think it's been a year since I last used the Ghost of 20. He showed up in one of my earliest live feeds. I did a little stunt where the Ghost of 2015 showed up. If you're sitting here now wondering who the Ghost of 2015 is, you have to go watch my Insider, or not my Insider, you have to watch my Model Train Outsider shows. Not the American Outsider, that was my more serious shows. Model Train Outsider was me, about my layout, about my thoughts on the model train hobby as I was getting into it. But I kind of hit a point, I stopped working on my layout with that Fowler car system, and it depressed me. I had a joy, I did that, oh man, check this out, the Fowler car system, this is working great. And then 2 weeks later, I talked myself into buying that diode, and it all fried out, and I'm just bitter about it. And it really has, although, again, I am set up, got the stuff to go under there and try one more time. But it's, well, the excuse I'm using right now is getting through all this DIY stuff at home. I had to do the plumbing and the electrical in the garage. We bought new lights to put on the front porch. So I've got all these little DIY things I should be doing, but I need to get through this plumbing bit first. And the electrical, which should have taken 2 hours of work in my garage, is on 3 days. Yeah, B&O is part of CSX, okay. Because, yeah, CXX runs through Toledo all the time. Amtrak and CSX. The problem is, like, when Joyce ran in the house real quick, trying to come home to get Liz's inhaler, because apparently Joyce didn't have Liz's inhaler. And instead of telling me where it was to go get it, Joyce said, I'll just come home, grab it, and run it to Liz's place. She could have called me. I could have ended the stream and gotten it to my daughter sooner. Her inhaler. But be that as it may, I wanted to get all these little DIY projects done so I could focus on the house. The yard and the garden are all done. Then it was the electrical in the garage. Now that work is done and I can get up each day. But man, it's been 90, 95 degrees in the hot sun on my driveway. It's not my job. I don't get paid to do it, so I don't go out there. I hang on the side and watch everybody's live streams. But yeah, on the movie version, and again, I put that up because people asked me if I would do just put together as a movie where they could watch it or download it. And I even gave a link to Clip Grab, which is just one of the programs out there, but Clip Grab is very trustworthy. And I put a link to it in that bit where I posted the movie. I just took out all this end of scene and beginning of scene cut scenes. I just took those out and spliced it together as a movie. Although watching it, I realized I missed a cut scene. And it came out to like 2 hours and 25 minutes. So Marvel movies have got nothing on me. Considering I threw out a lot of jokes because I couldn't do the visual stuff, this could have been a 3-hour movie. So it was a TV show. But it was fun. But anyhow, I also listed just down in the comments section of the video, I listed my favorite lines from throughout the scene. And if anybody wanted to go back and share with me your personal favorite tunes or bits, you can just leave comments there. But that's been the week since I last saw you. Lots of things. Plumbing, electrical, household DIY stuff. Setting up the Teespring shop. My daughter came over a couple of times last week to go over designs and, ask me, what do you think of this one? What do you think of that one? And then I would say, can you add this to that? Is there a way you can put this in? And she'd say, not the way they do it, because there's other stuff we could do, but the way Teesprings does their t-shirts, my daughter who works in this kind of business, she designs stores. She designs signs, if you haven't picked that up before. My oldest daughter is brilliant. She's a woman of many skills. She designs, she ran a sign making company. And originally she made big metal corporate light up signs. But when the guy that owned the company before her kind of closed half the business down, she tried to keep that part of the business going, but it was hard for her. So she shut that kind of part of the big sign, and she shut that part of the business down. But she still does her vinyl sign making, and I think a local city just contacted her to make their signs for their buildings, their new security signs and everything. So she still does that, and she makes, it's been a while since it did that. She makes like advertisement vinyl decals that you see on the side of cars to advertise businesses. So we drive through Toledo and, oh, our daughter made that, our daughter made that. But so she's into design, and but she said that the way Teesprings does their t-shirts, there are certain designs I want. She says they can't do them. They can't do it. You know, you need a silk screening process, and they don't do silk screening. And they don't do a vinyl applique process. They do something else. She says there's like 4 different ways of making t-shirts with designs on them, and she says the way they do it, some of these designs I wanted can't be done. Jean Ricard, I have fixed trains myself at times. Sometimes I then had to mail them off and have somebody else fix them because my fix was worse than the original damage. So, yes, there are things I do whenever something goes wrong with one of my trains, which is very rare, which is why I'm not that skilled at it. But, for example, I have a locomotive, the American 160th birthday celebration BR-101 locomotive, which I just put in a box because I finally got the pieces last weekend to fix it. So I took it apart, put the new pieces in, fixed it, put it on the test track. Everything lights up again. Awesome. Started to run it. Boom, 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 boom. Oops. Somebody did something wrong. Or fixing one problem caused a new problem. So I'm sending that off to a professional. That's what I do. If the very few times I need something fixed, if I don't know how to do it, I send it to a professional. I believe in keeping those people employed. It's just like I'll do a lot of plumbing, but there's certain plumbing I call a pro in. I will do a lot of electrical, but I will call in electricians, professional electricians. When I see something, I go, I don't get this. My favorite story is when I was redoing our kitchen. I was going to do all the rewiring myself. And I opened up one of these outlet or a light switch that had 3 panels on it, 3 different light switches on it. I opened it up, and literally it looked like 5 octopi and a few snakes had crawled in there and had an orgy. I took everything out with literally 13 different splices. 13 splices. 26 wires, 28 wires in one circuit box. For 3 light switches. Because it was light switch, ceiling fan. And I'm trying to look at this and figure out what line runs to what. And after a day of delay on getting everything else done, I finally called in electricians. And the best thing is the electrician came in and it took him 3 hours. Now I had to pay for 3 hours, but it took him 3 hours to sort it out and clean it up. So when it took a professional 3 hours to do something where I stared at it for several hours and couldn't figure it out, then I know I did the right thing. You don't believe me? Take thy beak from out my heart. Since I'm going to quote Shakespeare, let's go to Edgar Allan Poe next. But in the 5 years I've been into the hobby, Jean, here are all the issues I've had with my trains. My BR-21, the bogie came off. And a little plate and the screw disappeared. Well, I found the screw inside the train, wedged into somewhere. So that's one train that needs repaired. I got a bad bogie on this red Regiobahn car from a guy dumping a rock on it. And I leave it on because it's still technically one car short. It needs one more car to be proper complement. But I have tried straightening it out, prying it. I haven't. The bogey is not available. You can't order it from Märklin. And it basically works, so I let it run, except I put it on the wrong track today. I blew out my ICE3 because it got caught on there, and apparently what happened is when it shorted out, it blew a wire because it just needed a wire fix. But I didn't see that it needed wire fix. Otherwise, I probably would have settled that myself. But I sent it off, and the guy charged me $50 to fix it. So, you know, yay. $47 officially. And then the only other train that's needed repaired was my ICE2 that kids dumped in my classroom. Well, when I was homesick, a couple of girls moved the table it was on so they could plug in their phones, and the whole layout fell because they didn't understand. They thought the table was one table and that everything would just move with it. So no, one table moved, the other one didn't, and the platform fell to the floor, and they broke my train. So I finally sent that off to get repaired. Other than that, I haven't had train repairs. I've had issues with pieces of track at times, and I take out the track, put a new one in, and it's fine. So yeah, I believe in letting pros do it. I should learn, but I'm lazy. I've got other projects, like I've got a 00 gauge Eurostar, Beatles Eurostar, that I need to send off and get converted, but I know it's going to be expensive. And so I had jobs lined up, like, okay, I wanted to get the ICE2 and the ICE3, but then I messed up the 101, so I tried to fix the 101 myself. I sent off the ICE2 and the ICE1, and then the ICE3 fried, so I had to get the ICE3 fixed. So I had 3 trains out at one time, and I'm waiting to see what they're going to cost. Now, my ICE1 is just an old train I got, I guess I could say I got free. I got an ICE1 free from a gentleman. As part of a trade. He just threw it in because we traded. Well, I traded him an ICE1 for my other ICE3. I once had 2 ICE3s. So I traded him for ICE1 and a whole bunch of other stuff, and he threw other things in with it. But the ICE1 was old, it hadn't been running a long time, and it was analog. So I sent it off to get it converted to digital, to get a new microchip cleaned up and fixed up. So once all that stuff comes in, I'm going to send out my BR101 and see if they can fix what I screwed up, because I screwed up. I was all set to run it today and got it fixed, got everything going, and on the test track it was okay, and then I put it on the main track to really run it, and all of a sudden the front end's just going boom, 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 and it keeps doing it, and now it does it on the test track. Oh, that's cool, Kieran. And that's the other thing. Again, you have a small decoder, you have a small bit of train, oh, what can I do here? Is my solder available here? Now, let's do this. You know how small a circuit board is, all right? You know how small a circuit board is. Me with a solder. Can you imagine trying to do that with wiring? I don't know if you're seeing this. Do you see the hand shaking? Micro soldering is over. I used to do it. I can't do it. I can't hold a soldering iron still enough on a small microchip to put a wire back in. So when that IC3 popped the wire, had I known it was just a wire, maybe I'd looked at it and tried to solder it myself, but odds were I still wouldn't have done it because I can't do it. I can't hold a soldering iron to do microscope. I can hold a soldering wire to do basic electrical, but I cannot do it to do fine. It's just... And in the last year and a half, it's just gotten worse. So when it comes to even soldering a wire or fixing a wire, yeah, it's... If I run it the other direction. Yes, I've run it both ways. Yeah. So for whatever reason, and I've got my ideas, the front bogie still is not sitting in its seat properly. Even though I put the new screw in and I've checked everything, and according to the manual, it's in there properly. But for some reason, the front end of the bogie keeps hanging low, and I have screwed it up into place, and yet as soon as I start moving it, the bogie hangs down a bit, and it keeps bumping on the track, the ski, because you got to remember, I'm 3-rail. Come on, let's go. Here. So with 3-rail, we're dealing with the ski here. And the bogie, now it's already sealed in a box, so I can't show it to you. But the bogie and this is still hanging down despite me putting the new parts back in. It's hanging down. And there's a ski here. You got your ski here. And then there is the cow catcher, the snow plow, whatever you want to call that little front bit, that is all connected to the bogie. And so it's catching the third rail as it's moving along. It's catching that third rail and just bump. And when I put backwards, it's catching it. So there's clearly something still wrong in it. The motor is clicking. So I'm just going to send it off to my guy and have a pro look at it. And it'll cost me 50, 60 bucks, which even at my situation, I don't like. I feel like I'm throwing 50 or 60 bucks away at that, but not if it gets the locomotive fixed better than I can fix it. But again, the reason that bogie was messed up is because I left a stupid turnout open and it crashed into another train going a lot faster. So it had a train drive into it on a turnout because I left the turnout open. So it wasn't the quality of the loco. It was the idiot who forgot to close the turnout after he activated it. I was controlling it with my central station and thought I had clicked it. And instead of looking to make sure I did, I just assumed I did and I left it open. Oops. So I have an attitude. If I do something stupid, I pay for it, you know? But again, that's the thing. To start an argument with the UK guys, and the American guys. Now, the German company Pico can make their low end, their hobby level locomotives can be crappy at times. But the German locomotives, the German companies, and here, I didn't think you were going to come down. I know you've been busy. I was going to wrap it up here.
Oh yeah, that's what we're trying to do. I'll say hi, but hey, thank you for being here.
Well, it's been at 20. Where are you? There you are. That's good enough. There you are. And there's the microphone for you.
So, hi everybody.
Bye, Andy.
Hi, Andy. So, yeah.
What just happened?
I don't know. It's either it's disconnected. I don't know if it's reconnected.
There you go. And 19 now, because Andy's leaving. Do you want the book on top of that?
No, it's alright. I'm trying to talk much.
Because you've got that so you can control it.
Right. I can.
Because I've got this now to do this, so.
Right.
Well, it's all happy.
Yeah, it is.
But, you know, your voice doesn't project as much.
No, it doesn't. Listen, yelling. Oops, you just hit the picture.
Oh, did I? Oh, the picture, it still works on this computer. Oh!
You're gonna say that's probably.
What a convenient
Probably
find.
a
What a convenient
happy
find. Picture it doesn't work on anything else. Isn't that
Right.
maybe that's why the new central station doesn't work, because it's working with Windows 10 now.
Right.
So, yeah, you're catching everybody saying hi
So,
to you.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you look soft.
They were catching the conversation about Liz, so Liz is okay. But
I brought her home.
you brought her home.
I did.
Her car's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they sent her home.
She's shaky and icky looking, but she's breathing.
Great. So we need to go back out and bring her car home.
Yeah, that or we might just take her in the morning.
What time does she work tomorrow?
11.
All right, I'll just take her in.
Let's get on it up.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Just family business. We were a lot, and this just we were a lot.
Yeah. You're all in.
A lot of family
No
business.
secrets in this house.
No
Well, a lot,
more.
but still got a few.
Kind of crazy.
It's been a crazy week, and today's just kind of making sure it continues to stay crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm done rescuing people, though. Yeah, she's, I guess stable is the best word, but we'll keep an eye on her. If she gets tight again, we'll take her to the ER. It's, she just,
So did her breather just run out, or?
she didn't have one.
Oh. Why doesn't she have one anymore? Never mind.
Yes.
Never mind.
Yeah, so anyway, so I gave
Forgot
her
about that.
2 shots of my inhaler, and so she's looking better. But she wasn't going to work 6 more hours.
It's only gonna last 6 more hours.
Yeah. So, and they were all good with her leaving. She got a lot of sympathy.
That's a lot she's missed this year. I can't say for sure, but well, I can say for sure. I lost another subscriber.
Uh-oh.
We're going down.
I am.
Going down.
You guys gotta talk to your friends.
If you have nothing to offer, remember Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you build nothing, why would they bother?
Well, you need to start building again, I guess.
I need to start building.
Something.
Oh, yeah. See, I gotta get used to it. I keep looking for a second mouse. This mouse controls both
Randall,
screens.
that sucks.
Oh, what happened?
I had to put Dad back in the hospital. That's uncomfortable.
Oh, the UTI again?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll put words on for y'all. That sounds nice. What's the line?
The line is in the monitor Chris gave me.
Ah, okay.
Does this have...
Well, it was a used one, so...
Okay.
The 2 monitors are fun. That's cool.
I thought I'd share that with you.
Nice.
To the 3 people who bought Teespring t-shirts or whatever.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's good.
Wow, your thank you sounded like Lil. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, well. Anyway, that's cool.
We'd make a lot more money if we had Daisy. We'd make a Daisy doll, life size.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that sucks, Randall. You got a friend who's hitting the hospital a lot, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's home. How are the cats? Halfway out the door, to be honest.
A little too honest there, dear. We've got a puker.
We have a puker and one who doesn't like to pee in the cat box. So, you know, they're really working hard at us.
We need to take them both into the vet. The one probably has,
Yeah.
speaking of UTI, probably has a UTI of her
I
own.
really think so.
One has a
And,
UTI, and the other one obviously has some kind of a
problem
stomach
is
issue.
the doctor who was taking care of them left the practice, so they've ignored me now. And I said, hey,
Oh, hello, Ollie, Wardle Road. Long time no see. Nice to see you, sir.
yeah.
But,
I sure hope so, Randall. The brother's wasting away, but he's okay. And, yeah. Well, there's supposed to be pizza tonight.
ordered or made?
Made.
Okay. You don't want to do it, so we'll order something.
I better cook up that ground beef, though.
All right, well, we'll figure out something with that. We'll log off here and sort out dinner.
I should start cooking or we aren't going to eat till 7.
Yeah. Well, we'll sort out something because I kind of had the big breakfast and skipped lunch.
Yeah. So anyway, hit the like button on your way out, gentlemen and ladies.
Were you trying Daisy or Lil there? I think.
I think that was. I thought I was going for Lil. And then it
Yeah, it
turned
wasn't
into,
quite 100%.
maybe turned
Lil.
into Daisy though, or
It started at Daisy and went Lil, or went Lil and
something
started
like that. I'm so mixed up by these girls.
Schizophrenic.
Yeah,
You're
for
schizophrenic. That's what you're doing. You don't know who you are anymore. Are you Daisy? Are you Lil? Hey, at least you're not me. I did. Let's see. We had
Sure.
30.
Maybe I'm Little Daisy.
We had 34 characters. You did 7.
7, and most of them weren't good. So
No, they were fine.
yeah,
You did
Sean,
7.
it's
I did 27.
bedtime if you're anywhere near our age. So, oh shoot.
All right, Jean Ricard. Bonne nuit. So
Yeah.
that's about where we were.
Right.
So anyhow, yeah, we've got a
Oh,
couple.
and that's nice, Randall. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Randall.
I hit the like button before he left. Yeah, it's all good.
Yep. Yeah, we probably got to take care of some things. We got to take care of dinner and check in on our daughter
Make
because
sure the
Joyce brought her home from work,
28-year-old
so
is
that's how bad
still
her.
breathing and.
All right. So anyhow, we're gonna say before you all head out the door, once again, as always, can't believe you people come and spend a couple hours here, but please, I'll be here. So
Bring
if
your
you ever come
friends,
in,
these losing people.
bring a friend. Bring a friend. Beer and popcorn. We keep spilling all our secrets to you, so. And we're explaining dirty jokes to people from other countries. So,
Right.
you know, if the trains don't get you, maybe that will. But yeah, don't forget.
Educational purposes.
If you
of
really are
course.
desperate to blow hard-earned money, you can go to the Model Train Outsider Teespring shop and get one of the 2 T-shirt or mugs or whatever else we
Yeah.
put up there. Just check it out. But anyhow, on that note, we're going to say Auf Wiedersehen.